Guys did well, and what maybe do you need to clean up this week?
Oh, there's still plenty of things to clean up. I mean, there's issues that don't arise at times. We've got pressure. I thought that was obviously a good thing. Formation alignments, things that other teams will steal. Obviously, we've got to make sure that we clean up. Started out there tonight. What we did well, probably started out with the pressure. I thought they did a nice job on pressures, on blitzes, and things like that, getting home. And I thought we played tighter in coverage as well. So things to build off of, but obviously a ton of things to clean up still.
Obviously, it's a fourth quarter game, but how much of a boost did it give your guys to be put in that bad position on the first play and second play and then hold them to a field goal?
Well, we've been talking about, critical situations, obviously third down, red zone, all those things. I mean, it doesn't matter when it happens in the game. They get in the red zone or plus side of the field, you got to bow your neck and get a stop. And so, by all means, I think it gave them confidence. But we've got to make sure, no matter what, whether they start a drive there or get a few plays on us and get there, we've got to make sure our mentality is the same and attack it and get the job done.
You mentioned the ability you guys had to get pressured. What was kind of the result of that? Was anything different y'all did, or just, they played well?
No, there wasn't a whole lot different. We brought a little bit more DB pressure here and there, because they had struggled with it, but there wasn't a whole lot different. Our typical simulated pressures were in, and Buki did a nice job. Deontay did a good job on one of them, getting his hand up late, hitting the quarterback's arm. Dante Russell did a good job, and just I thought we got the production we needed in those pressures.
Speaking of DB pressures, Corey Ellington appears the last couple of weeks kind of come on. What are you seeing from him?
Yeah, I thought he played with more confidence in coverage and in the run game than when we blitzed him a couple of times. And, he's a big, strong athlete, and so we need him to play confident to uphold his end of the bargain. I thought he did a nice job.
What did you see on that play, the sneak that KJ tried to run that y'all got to stop on fourth down, and just how big was that in terms of momentum to, stuff him there?
Huge. I mean, obviously, fourth down stop. Again, another critical situation, right? Conversion downs, and Bryce Pollock did a nice job. Bryce did a great job coming in, and you can't really see it until you watch the tape, but he punches and the ball comes out. Sean does a good job getting on it and getting it out. And obviously, college football is a momentum game, and that was a huge momentum swing.
Early impressions of Auburn?
Yeah, very talented, obviously. They've got a lot of new faces on the O-line. 62, the guard's back from last year. Everybody else pretty much is new. The running back, Hunter, everybody knows about him. And then, they've got a young, kind of a scat back, 5'7", 170 pounds, number 21, that I think is dynamic. I mean, he makes people miss all the time in space and even in the box. So he's a problem. They have length at receiver. They have tight ends all over the field. It seems like they're utilizing them even more the last couple games, and all of them are athletic and can cause problems both in the run game and passing game matchups. And then the two quarterbacks, both of them are dynamic athletes. Obviously, we saw Robbie last year and what he can do with his legs and his arm, but the new kid Peyton is a problem as well. He gets out on the edge on Georgia and goes like 69 yards. So there's plenty of issues that they can create.
Bit of an off-topic question that I asked Zach about this morning. Obviously, you got all the sign stealing stuff going on in college football, conversation-wise going on in football. I'm just curious, as a coordinator, what kind of things do you maybe talk about throughout the year with as a staff to try to limit teams from stealing your signs? Not a
lot, because usually, you get into different situations with tempo and things like that, and when you signal usually pretty quick. So we haven't been involved in any conversations about it, to be quite honest with you.
Have you ever been in things with the past where on other stats where you change signs or whatever because you're worried about it?
Maybe if you have like a situation where a guy on your staff took another job and you're playing him, you might change terminology, you might change a signal here and there on that. But as far as through the course of the season, other than those specific scenarios, I really haven't.
I know you were with the special teams at the time, but what do you remember most about that last visit to Auburn 2 years ago when they went up big and you were able to put 40 plus on them in that comeback?
Tale of two halves. I mean, we couldn't have started any slower or finished any better. We had that touchdown going in right for the second or into the second quarter, and that swung the momentum. And I just thought we carried it over, and we made a couple plays on all sides of the ball, and it was just one of those deals where when it started to unravel for them and it just kept building for us, it was a huge that was a huge win, obviously, for us.
Zach mentioned it today, but sometimes Auburn's employs some 14 personnel. So on the defensive side of the football, how do you match up with that? I mean, does that change your defensive alignment when you see guys, kind of doing some things unorthodox?
Sometimes potentially it does. Oftentimes it depends on where it is on the field, right? You get down goal line, short yardage, you want to match personnel more. But what's interesting with them, whether it be 14 or 22 personnel or 13. You're not getting traditional, 22 personnel. You think, I pro, 2 tight ends. That's not what it is. It's more like 21 formations and 2-back formations with split receivers, split tight ends. So they do a lot of things personnel that maybe aren't your typical when you hear those numbers. And so we've got to do a good job of understanding what formations we're getting and adjusting accordingly.